I thought I'd do an organic post on dealing with unawakened family members. Because this morning I went to have coffee with a couple of my family members who triggered the shit out of themselves. And I was kind of caught in the middle, and yeah, I had to focus quite a bit to just stay in my energy and not engage. And I thought, oh yeah, that's kind of the classical example of, you work on yourself and you progress, you develop your spiritual sides, you do all these things, and if you do it like I did it, mostly in isolation because you can really focus on yourself. But the test really comes if once you re-engage, and family is typically the biggest trigger, just to see whether you can actually cope with it, um, because there's little point of being enlightened by yourself. There's nothing. I mean, it's great if you can sit in a cave and achieve nirvana, but at the end of the day, it's if you're when you're in traffic, or whether you're waiting in line, or whether you're dealing with family, that's kind of the test, of how robust your newly found peace is. And there's quite a few thoughts or reflections around that, because at some stage, one of the thought that emerges is, well, is it actually worth it? Worth dealing with family? Because every interaction is with any human is it's an energetic transaction, and obviously you don't choose your family. You can choose friends. You can choose who you want to deal with, and that's where you probably measure, what do I get? Peace? Do I get love? What do I get out of this? Is it just a stressful interaction? With family? Family's family. You don't choose them, and so how do you deal with the fact that it might be more work than anything else? And well, the value or the benefit you might get out of it is that it's, I wouldn't say it's a test, but it's work, but you get to hone your skills. You get to check in for yourself. Oh well, what comes up, and because I was away, I was removed from my family for quite a long time. When I was in New Zealand for almost 15 years, and then now it's a more, because they live close by. I have a closer interaction with them, and so what wasn't there in the past, I'm now exposed to more of these things. And of course, 15 years is a long period of time, and everyone evolves into different directions, and I get to see, how do I react, or how do I respond, um, if I'm interacting with lower energy individuals. And it's not a label, it's not a criticism, it's just what it is. um, and it's not that nothing happens, so I don't react overtly, but it's not that the opportunity is not there, or that the option is not there. It's definitely there, and that's based on, you can't undo the past. Everything still follows you, but you have this free will, this free choice. Everything exists in thought form, like it's as a potential. There's the thought of, I could say this now, or I could say that, or part of me really wants to say this now, and it's there as an option, as one of many options. And your free will, or you, what are you then? You're the one that observes all of these options, and you're gonna choose something. And the choice is there to stay in your energy, stay in your high frequency, and then just observe, and do not contribute to any of what's snowballing in front of you. And it's so obvious, right? So you can literally, from a mile away, you see all the triggers, and everyone just pushes their buttons, each other's buttons, and everyone reacts to the buttons and then presses harder on the other one's buttons, and everything just escalates into until something happens, or someone blows up, or someone decides that, okay, no, hang on, like, yeah, no, or someone gets silent, or something else happens. And I get to observe that, and I get to observe in my own mind what kind of options are available to me, and I get to choose what I do. And so there's obviously the choice of staying true to myself, of not having it impact me in a way that I would sink into a lower frequency. There's also definitely there's the urge to, I need to teach them. I need to tell them how to do it. I need to help them. I need to tell them, okay, you have to raise your frequency. You need to be past that. You need to don't listen to this. Don't take it personally. There's a wish or an urge to educate, teach, putting me on a pedestal, and at the same time, there's the balancing of who's receptive at the moment. Is it gonna lead to anything? Because once you sink below a threshold of frequency, people can tell you what they want. Like, you're not even gonna listen. Like, it's just you're listening to say something. You're not listening to actually listen. You listen to respond, to react. And typically that's what's happening if people get really have lowered their frequency quite a bit and are in a completely reactive mode. So nothing's gonna land. They don't have the capacity to absorb anything. So at the same time, well, I could teach them something, but at the same time, there's no point teaching anything at this stage. So I need to let everyone cool down. I'm just gonna be there. And then, of course, people are gonna see that and gonna try to trigger you. Why are you not saying anything? And then you're like, oh, then you need to calm down, because then there's the option of saying something, and what would you say? So it's good in a sense to expose yourself to that. It's good to check in with yourself, Now, of course, I would prefer to be in an environment where everyone raises each other up in terms of frequency, instead of sinking lower in that downward spiral of reactivity. But family is family, and part of being in a higher frequency is to allow whatever is happening. It's not good or bad. It is what it is. And I'm pretty sure I lived through quite a few lifetimes and had to learn how to become myself through a lot of challenging times, So it's just the fact that I'm not that anymore doesn't mean that I was never that at some stage in the past. or in a past life. So I decide to, for me, I really focus or embody an energy of compassion, and of non-reactivity. I can respond, but not, I don't want to react emotionally, because it doesn't bring anything to the situation. It doesn't help. But yeah, I was just thinking how many other people are in the same situation, and it's not well, I don't perceive it as the right response for me to just remove myself from these situations, because I could just decide to do it differently, or to only meet certain people or certain combinations of people, so that I have a better time, and to some extent also take responsibility, responsibility for everyone's well-being. So that can also be like a shadow side, to only seek harmony. And again, that there's nothing good or bad about it. I just focus on the moment, because I don't want to focus on present or past. It is what it is right now to be with family. I am aware that I usually seek to help people, so that in the future it might be different, but that can also lead to an attachment to making things better, to take responsibility for something that's not yours. It's not yours to bear. Everyone's responsible for their own development. You can obviously teach by example, and I think that's when you focusing on yourself instead of other people, you might intrinsically be in a position of being a role model, because people see that, and they might see it but actually not see it. It might be just, oh yeah, if you would ask them what happened there and what was your role in it, oh wait, we just sat there silently and didn't do anything. So role model is only there if people are ready to see it, and it triggers something in them. Oh, you were really calm, or you didn't engage, or so that can also be perceived as negative. You didn't say anything. You could have said something. So the teacher only appears if the student's ready, right? So you can embody yourself as long as you want, and remain in a positively responsive state, but it might be perceived as bad, or as condescending or arrogant or whatever. But you don't control how people respond to you, to your energy. So yeah, I wanted to share that, because I'm still in that energy, or in that reflection, and it's for me, it's really, well, what the deepest reflection in that is really, what do I want to expose myself to? Do I want to have the choice, that weird choice of family engagement? Because there's obviously, like, at one extreme, there's, well, you have a great family and you're kind of all at the same level of development. On the other side, there's toxic family, abusive, so there are extremes in that, and one extreme would be to completely break contact and to remove yourself, which would be the right action to take if there's toxicity, abuse. The other side is obviously you're great, and everyone supports each other, and everyone elevates each other's frequency. But the difficulty is really in that shade of gray, in those shades of gray where, oh my God, that was hard work, that was hard work today. Do I want that again? Should I take action in not putting myself in those situations again? Am I avoiding something if I don't do it? These are not trivial questions to answer. It's and everything you do has an impact. And it's important to take responsibility for your actions, and sometimes there is a choice to be made there about how much to engage, who to engage with. And there's a legitimate question in, what do I get out of this? You shouldn't be just the one that has to be the energetic anchor and just work through anchoring, trying to anchor everyone while everyone blows up around you. And it was a reminder for me today that well, first of all, it was a reminder that not everyone is seeking development, is seeking evolution, is first of all seeing potential mental flaws and seeks to remedy to it. Comes back to the position of cycle breaker in the family. And I certainly don't, there's no abuse, I'm definitely not on one of the extremes of the family dynamic. But there are definitely cycles to be broken, smaller or bigger cycles, but cycle breaking in that case is really to be able to hold the frequency, to see all the energy that not actively tries to trigger you, but is there, could act as a trigger based on all the past you had with the family. And you almost meet your past self. Your past self is still somehow here as a ghost, as an unrealized thought form, not manifested thought form, because you can see it as an option of response. You can see, something emerged as an option based on old patterns, but I choose not. That's not the option I'm choosing. I'm choosing another one that is available to me. And that by itself is cycle breaking, because you're not contributing to the spiral, to what's happening at the moment. And being a cycle breaker doesn't mean that you will break the cycles for other people. You break the cycles for yourself, whatever comes past you. Now, other members of a family can definitely continue that loop, can perpetuate the energetic cycles, but at least it stops with you. So everything that is close to you, or that relates to you, that you have an impact on going forward, that energy is not going to come past that. And that's the only thing you can do. And that's a massive role that can never be overemphasized, how difficult it is to block that, to just stay with it, and not take the easy way out, not to react, but to respond in a way that reflects all the work you've been doing. So to anyone who's doing that kind of work in their own family, and everyone has a different situation, everyone's dealing with different triggers or different things that escalate around themselves. Respect. You're doing an incredible work, and I see you, and I'll send you all my energy, all my love, because that's a tough job. It's a tough job, and it's like you feel the isolation. You're the black sheep. You're the one that don't participate. Not necessarily like it's well, you're not participating in anything good anyway. Like you see all that things happening, but other people would perceive it as well. You're not actually part. You're not participating. Yeah, I'm not participating because there's no point to all of this. So yeah, I'm removing myself, and I'm working hard to just hold that energy and transmute it into something else. So my hat's off to all of you guys that do similar work. It's incredibly important, and each one of you is incredibly important in the great scheme of things. I strongly believe that everything we're doing, microcosm, macrocosm, everything, even the slightest little things, have tremendous significance on a cosmic scale. That's a strong belief, because everything reverberates in that quantum reality we live in. And I know it's hard because you actually don't see it. You don't see the physical result of what you're doing, but this is just a mammoth effort of every one of you, and I'm terribly proud of you guys to do that kind of work, because I know how difficult it is. So my hat's off, and that's it for today. I'll catch you in the next one. Much love to you guys.